Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, we have started the routing protocol, and out of the routing protocol, we have discussed the proactive or the table-driven and reactive or on-demand. So I think in the reactive portion, we have not completed the entire part.
Yes, sir.
Rupam, can you tell me up to which point we have covered on demand?
Sir, I remember every part of the node. Once a route has been established, maintained by route.
Okay. I got. So, so that means what is basically on demand? So on demand means there is no arrangement earlier. Okay, there is no route arrangement, route establishing earlier until a requirement has arrived. Whenever there is a requirement for any kind of transmission between the nodes, then only this kind of protocols initiate their activity by searching for the best possible route, establishing the connection, then transferring the data. Okay. So the last line we have discussed in the last class is that suppose once a route has been established, so everyone continue from this point. So once a route has been established, it is maintained by a route maintenance procedure. It is maintained by a route maintenance procedure until either the destination become inaccessible unaccessible along with every path from the source along with every path from the source or until the route is no longer desired. Until the route is no longer desired. Full stop. Route discovery usually occurs Route discovery usually occurs by flooding a route by flooding a route request packets through the network. Next paragraph. On-demand routing protocols can be classified into we are not going in details about the classifications of on-demand. Basically, we must know the classifications of on-demand, but we are not going in depth. Okay. On-demand routing protocols can be classified into two categories. Number one, source routing. And number two, hop by hop, hop by hop. Now write one line for each category. Next paragraph, right? In source routed on-demand protocol, source routed on-demand protocols, in source routed on-demand protocol, each data packet carry the complete path. Each data packet carry the complete path from source to destination. Next, in Hop by Hop on demand, in Hop by Hop on demand, routing protocol, in Hop by Hop on demand routing protocol, each router maintains a routing table of the next hop neighbor for each node. Disadvantages like number one, high latency time in route finding.
Sorry, sir.
High,
I will
lat-
repeat.
high latency time in route finding. That means for finding a route, it requires more time as compared to the proactive, because in proactive all the informations are previously stored or collected, but here when the requirement arise, then only it go for the finding of the best possible route. That's why high latency time, that is high time is required for finding a route. The high latency time in route finding. And the second one is, because in this type of protocol, what they do, they use flooding. They broadcast a message that I'm searching for this kind of path. The flooding can lead to a network congestion, or network can cause a network traffic. Flooding can cause, or flooding can lead to a network congestion or network traffic. Okay. Some you can also add some points in proactive. Like suppose in disadvantage, high storage requirement. I think I have already mentioned this point. High storage requirement, then high bandwidth requirement. These 2 points I think I have already mentioned. Another point you can add in proactive, that low scalability. Another disadvantage of proactive is low scalability. Then in reactive, high delay, as I mentioned, it requires more time to find the route. Similarly, again, low scalability and small control overhead. Small control overhead. And what will be the advantages of reactive? That it requires low storage. As in proactive, it requires high storage because we are going to store all the necessary information. That means all the information, not necessary, all the informations. But in reactive, what we do, we simply store only the related informations. That's why comparatively it requires low storage. In case of proactive, I mean low delay, or root setup process, because since maximum informations are already collected, from this information we simply need to select. But in case of reactive, high delay of root setup process, because no pre informations are collected. When you want to communicate, you have to collect on all the informations, all the related informations, and you have to work accordingly. So these are some advantages and the disadvantages of proactive and reactive. Next, hybrid routing protocols. The third one is hybrid routing protocols. So what is basically hybrid routing protocols? It is a combination of both proactive and reactive protocol. And a combination does not mean that everything is comes from proactive and reactive. If everything we can summarize everything from proactive and reactive to a single one, then why we need proactive and reactive? That means some portion from the proactive which is more suitable and which is more what I say relatable with the reactive, we collect this portion and design a new type of protocol which is called as a hybrid protocol. The hybrid routing protocol, you can write as a hybrid routing protocol, is basically a combination of proactive and reactive protocols. Hybrid routing protocols are basically the combination of proactive and reactive routing protocols. After solution, these protocols maintain topology information. These protocols maintain topology information up to m hops in tables. So that means in hybrid we are using some tables like table driven. Similarly, we are also using the concept of hop, and which is a part of on demand, because in on demand there is a classification called hop by hop routing protocol. Okay, so that means in this type of protocol we are basically combine a portion from proactive and a portion from reactive to form a new category of protocol. Okay. Examples are ZRP, zone routing protocol. Next, ZHLS, zone based hierarchical link state routing protocol. Zone based hierarchical link state routing protocol. What are the advantages of this kind of protocol? First, the primary advantage is that fast link establishment. That means since it is a combo of both these two, that means if you go for this kind of protocol, it can establish the link quickly. Advantage is a fast link establishment. Okay. Next point, less overhead as compared to table driven and reactive protocol. Less overhead as compared to table driven and reactive, because here we are not following completely the table driven or not completely the reactive. That's why the amount of overhead is less as compared to the both. But the disadvantage is that here high storage is required, and high storage and processing requirements as compared to reactive protocol, because in reactive we are not maintaining the information from the entire network, but here like table driven we are going to store the information up to m hops. Suppose for a leaf node up to suppose third hop, for the first layer node it will be suppose up to fourth node. That means in table driven we go for the end node, but here we are going to store up to m hop. It may be third, it may be fifth, according to the layer, but still it requires high speed and processing as compared to reactive protocol. Is it clear?
Sir, advantage of first one about
কোনটো protocol hybrid ne? Okay. The first advantage is that fast link establishment. That means using this kind of protocol, we can establish the link faster than the other categories of protocol. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then next category is temporal information for routing. Temporal information for routing. So in temporal information for routing, there are two types. One is called past history and the second one is called, suppose, prediction. So that means basically this category of protocol deals with the temporal information available within the network itself. That means basically within the network, if we go for a past history, that is within the network, what are the nodes that are frequently active, or what are the nodes they are basically worked as a sender in multiple times, or who is normally sending more data, who are expecting more data. Okay. Based on these informations, these protocols are going to work. That means based on the past history, like suppose in Google, when we search something, it simply gives us some suggestion based on our previous search history. So things are similar to that, that based on the previous history, whatever the nodes are involved in what kind of activities, based on this, these protocols are going to work. Simultaneously, another way of this type of protocol, or another mechanism of this kind of protocol, is that they can predict. That means whatever the activities are going on, that means they can predict something, the prediction. That means if this kind of informations are need to be shared through this network. Maybe this node is going to act as a sender. Okay, so this kind of predictions are also occurs while establishing a network. That means based on some past history, some communication can be happen, or based on some predictions, some communication can be happen. And for this category of protocols are normally used. Okay, I will share the notes later for these two category. So basically you have to understand what is past history, what is prediction. So past history is similar to our cache memory, which store the most frequently used search information or most frequently used data, so that later when the user is going to search for something, they can give us the suggestion for the past history. And similarly, based on the current scenario, some protocols can predict something, that maybe between these two nodes in coming days some communication may be happen. So this kind of predictions can be happen in a network, and for this some protocols are designed. So in past history category, some very common protocol are suppose DSDB. That means DSDB can also act on past history. So initially we considered it or we found it as a DSDB as a proactive protocol, but it also supports the past history concept. Similarly, DSR. In the previous category, we found that DSR comes under reactive category, but here we can also found that the DSR supports the past history mechanism. Similarly, AODB and WRP. That means, like suppose a computer system can be classified into different categories from, or can be placed under the different categories. Similarly, a protocols can be placed in different category if it supports this supports their mechanism. For example, suppose I will try to make it clear. Suppose in class there are 10 students. Suppose in your class you have 12 students. Suppose I want to categorize by gender. Okay, so if I categorize by gender, the male comes in one side, the female comes in other side, one category. Now if I want to categorize by, suppose one category for 8 point and above 8 point holder, one category from 6 to 7.9 point holder, and the third category is less than 6 points, suppose. Then the same students can be placed into different categories, where the male and female can be placed under the same category also, because this time our parameter is something different. Initially we classified based on gender. Now we are classifying based on the CGPA, suppose. The same thing has happened here. So earlier we are classified the protocol based on how we work That means as a proactive or reactive. Now we are considering whether they can support the past history, whatever activities are happened earlier. Based on this, can they work? So that's why both DSDB or DSR or AODB, they are placed in the same category under the temporal information for routing. Okay, in routing information update, there comes in the separate category, but in temporal information for routing, in this category under the past history, all the protocols comes in the same. For predictions, we have FORP protocol, we have RABR protocol, and we have LBR protocol. These are the protocols which can predict something. They analyze the environment, they analyze the network behavior, and based on this, they can predict something. Okay, so these are the two types of two categories under the temporal information. Okay, and the next one is suppose utilization of specific resource. Okay, I will continue in the next class. So before that, is it clear to everyone? Is it clear what is temporal information, how we can classify them, and why both DSDB or DSR, those who are comes in different category, are now comes under same category under the second type of routing protocol? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir, but I was interested to believe in
কি বুজা নাই কি কৈছা?
Sir, হৈছে almost বুজি পাইছো, but নিজে অলপ আৰু এবাৰ চাব লাগিব এটা complete হ'বগে আৰু।
নিজেতো চাবই লাগিব।
তাকে sir।
Okay, then I will continue in the next class with the next category of protocol. So till then, I will end this class. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.